He was the king of pop, a global icon, a musical genius. From moonwalking into history to breaking racial barriers, Michael Jackson was worshipped across the world. But behind the lights and the legend was a lonely man, misunderstood, manipulated, and, in many ways, betrayed by nearly everyone around him. His family, his advisors, the media, the very industry he revolutionized. They all had a hand in his downfall. This is not just a story about fame. This is the heartbreaking truth about how the world failed Michael Jackson. And yet, through every betrayal, he still sang, he still danced, he still gave. This is the untold story of Michael Jackson's rise, his pain, and the ultimate betrayal. Welcome back to Black Icon, where we dive deep into the lives of the legends who shaped the world. If you're new here, subscribe, like, and hit the bell, because today's story will change how you see fame forever. Michael Jackson wasn't born into fame, he was pushed into it. At just 5 years old, he became the lead singer of the Jackson 5. His talent was unmistakable, but so was the pressure. While other kids played outside, Michael spent hours rehearsing, dancing, singing, perfecting every move.
My childhood was completely taken away from me.
His father, Joe Jackson, ruled with an iron fist. Mistakes were met with punishment. Smiles on stage hid the pain off it. He didn't get a childhood. He didn't get rest. He got discipline, business meetings, and tours. And behind every hit song was a little boy losing pieces of his innocence. And yet, the world clapped. No one asked how a child could carry the weight of an empire. The industry, his family, they all benefited. But Michael paid the price. The betrayal began early. He became a product, not a person. And that wound, buried deep in childhood, never healed. By his late teens, Michael was ready to escape the control of his father in Motown. He longed for artistic freedom and the chance to create music that truly reflected him. With producer Quincy Jones, he crafted Off the Wall, his first solo masterpiece. But even that success wasn't enough. Michael was hungry to redefine pop music. And in 1982, he did. Thriller didn't just break records, it rewrote the rules. 7 top 10 hits, 8 Grammy Awards. It became the best-selling album in history. And yet, behind that global takeover, Michael still felt unseen. Even in triumph, there was betrayal. Executives who once doubted him now profited off his genius. Friends became opportunists, and those he trusted began to take advantage. He had finally broken free from his father's control. But as his fame soared, the vultures began to circle. He would soon learn that success only made the betrayal sharper. As the king of pop, Michael's fame attracted millions, but so did his money. And soon his inner circle was filled with people who were paid to care, but didn't. Michael trusted people to manage his empire, from lawyers to accountants, managers to assistants, but many of them saw a paycheck, not a person. Mismanagement led to enormous debts. Lavish spending was encouraged. Contracts were rewritten behind his back. Neverland was his escape, a fantasy built from the childhood he never had. But even there, betrayal followed him. Staff leaked photos, security guards sold stories. Private moments became tabloid headlines. Everywhere he turned, trust was broken. Some of his closest advisors were later found guilty of stealing from him. Others profited from his name long after they were gone from his life. And perhaps the cruelest twist, even those who claimed to protect him added to his pain. He wasn't surrounded by friends, but by people who saw him as a wallet. Outside, millions adored him. But inside his gates, Michael Jackson was a king without a castle and a legend without a home. If betrayal from within wasn't enough, the outside world turned against Michael too. The same media that once celebrated his genius now fed off his pain. They called him names, mocked his appearance, questioned his identity. No detail was off limits. His skin, his voice, his surgeries, his love life. Every step became a story, every silence, a suspicion. He suffered from vitiligo, a condition that changed his skin color. He underwent surgeries, many of which were medically necessary. But instead of empathy, he was ridiculed. When allegations of child abuse surfaced, the media went into a frenzy. Before the facts, before the trials, he was already judged, already convicted in the court of public opinion. Though Michael was never found guilty, the damage was done. Sponsors pulled out, sales dropped, and a global icon was reduced to a punchline. While he fought for his name, the world watched, not with compassion, but with cameras. The man who gave joy to millions had nowhere to hide from their judgment. As the years went on, Michael Jackson, once the most recognized face on earth, began to retreat from the world. The noise had become unbearable. He had built Neverland as a sanctuary, but even that dream was shattered. After the 2005 trial, he left Neverland for good. He sought peace overseas, Bahrain, Ireland, Las Vegas. But peace never truly came. The trauma had changed him. He stopped trusting people. Those he once considered friends had either vanished or betrayed him. Even his own family couldn't always be counted on. It's very difficult to find people you can trust. I don't have that many. I live a very lonely life. And behind the curtain was a body breaking down. The physical toll of years of stress, insomnia, and performance pressure required prescription medications to cope. Medications that would eventually take his life. The one light in his life remained his children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket. With them, he found some sense of purpose. He shielded them from the spotlight he once craved. He gave them what he never had, a father. But even as a father, he was fighting shadows, lawsuits, debts, and the pressure to make a comeback, all closing in on a man already too fragile to carry the weight. In 2009, Michael Jackson announced what was to be his triumphant return, a 50-date concert series titled, "This Is It." For fans, it was a dream come true. For Michael, it was a lifeline, a way to rebuild, to reclaim his narrative. But few knew just how much pressure was resting on those shows. Behind the curtain, Michael was physically and emotionally exhausted. His health had deteriorated. He battled chronic insomnia, and to sleep, he relied on powerful sedatives, including the drug that would ultimately end his life. Even as his body begged for rest, he was dancing with ghosts. The ghosts of his past, of his pain, and of a world that demanded more than any human could give. On June 24, 2009, he completed a full rehearsal. By all accounts, he was energetic, sharp, focused. He told his team, "See you tomorrow." But tomorrow never came. The king of pop, silenced not by the stage, but by a fatal dose of propofol administered by his personal physician, Dr. Conrad Murray. A drug meant for hospital use, given in a bedroom, to help him sleep. The news sent shockwaves across the planet. Mourning swept through millions. But beneath the grief was a haunting question. How did this happen? And who was truly responsible? Michael Jackson's death wasn't just the end of a life, it was the end of an era. The world grieved not only the artist, but the child inside the man who had never truly known peace. In the days that followed, millions gathered, in person and online, to pay tribute to the legend they had danced with their whole lives. His memorial at the Staples Center was watched by over 1 billion people worldwide. But as the music faded, hard truths emerged. Dr. Conrad Murray was arrested and charged with involuntary manslaughter. The trial exposed a world of medical negligence, secrecy, and the desperation Michael had lived with, all to escape the pain, the pressure, and the shadows that haunted him. Murray served just 2 years of a 4-year sentence, a punishment many felt fell short of justice. But perhaps no verdict could bring peace to the storm that had surrounded Michael for decades. And yet, even in death, Michael Jackson's light never dimmed. His voice lives in the music. His moves echo in the generations he influenced. His legacy, complicated, magical, tragic, remains unmatched. Beyond the headlines, beyond the scandals, and beyond the moonwalk, there was a man, a father, a dreamer, a perfectionist haunted by pain. yet determined to heal the world through song. Michael Jackson didn't just want to entertain, he wanted to uplift. His songs weren't just pop, they were protests, prayers, and poems. He sang of injustice, loneliness, racism, and unity. Even as the world tried to tear him down, he kept creating, kept giving, kept believing, and in doing so, became something more than a superstar. He became a symbol. He was the king of pop, yes, but also a wounded soul, a betrayed genius, a child in a man's body who gave everything and asked only to be loved. Thank you for watching this episode of Black Icon. If Michael Jackson's story moved you, if you felt his pain, his greatness, and his humanity, share this video. Subscribe for more untold stories of legendary Black icons who changed the world forever.